my privilege to be able to share a little bit with you about our initiative. I'll keep it short, but I think it helps provide some context for the resources and the approach we're taking with our ecosystem, which is really about, we say in medicine, you treat the whole patient, and in California, we believe you educate the whole student, and so that's really what our passion is. In California, we have a pretty large, actually the largest system of higher education in the world. We have 114 independently accredited community colleges, 72 different boards of trustees that are elected by local voters to govern those boards. Each college has its own academic senate. It just gets more and more complex as we go through this. But 1 out of every 5 community college students in the United States is a California community college student. So we're really trying to work and innovate on a large scale. And so we hope that some of the lessons we've learned are things that you can take back to your institutions and to your universities and colleges. Just a little bit of data in 2015-16, which is actually the most recent system-wide data we have, partly because of size and complexity. We offered just over 57,000 online sections in our system. And we adopted Canvas. We began adopting Canvas in July of 2015. And since that time, we've had just an incredible adoption rate. Each college has made the decision independently to move to Canvas. We've not pressured them to do anything. We've just provided a lot of help and information along the way. And we have 108 colleges now that have made the decision, and many are in transition. Some have already fully migrated. Our mission really is about increasing completion. We started with a focus on transfer degrees between the community colleges and the state university system in California. And we always talk about access as being important. We do a lot of work around online equity, closing the achievement gap, but also just things like connectivity and how to help students who sometimes don't even know they can go to college, get into college classes, and to support them along the way. One of the lessons we've learned is that you really need a robust set of online student services and support for those students, because just getting them into an online class alone isn't enough, right? We need to be able to help them be successful. And so the overall goal and our tagline is really access. Quality, because we know that quality has been the boogeyman sitting on the shoulder of online educators for a lot of years. So we've instituted an online course design rubric and other collaborative quality measures that bring faculty together to improve courses and to make them more accessible and more engaging. So we're very proud of that as well. So some of the major impacts, moving our colleges to a common platform, being Canvas, has just been incredible. It's brought a level of collaboration across institutions that we just haven't seen before, and it's really helped us to crystallize around a new digital infrastructure for our state in terms of the community college system. And now we're seeing some interest from other partners, state university system, and even looking at how we can align data with K-12 to be able to create a really robust overall experience for students, whether they're starting out in K-12, moving up, and transferring out from our institutions as well. So we're excited about that. We've focused a lot on professional development. You'll hear about some of the integrated academic and support resources from some of my colleagues here. And then the other large-scale component is that because of the size and scope of our system, we're looking at how to help students find access to courses where there's an open seat at another college. And that's the course exchange. So we have some work on that as well. But we've found that with Canvas, the extensibility of it has been just incredible. So what that's done for us is it's opened up the doors to work with a lot of different partners to provide some of these services and platforms that individually our colleges really struggle to provide on their own. So you'll see a couple logos up here. We have, I think Barbara's going to talk a little bit more about what this overall ecosystem looks like and how we've implemented some of these pieces. But having the base of the open, mobile-friendly, intuitive, student-friendly platform of Canvas has just been incredible for our students and for our faculty. And Amy's going to talk about the selection process, but the voices of our students were really important in that process, and we had a lot of faculty engagement as well. So with that, I'm going to introduce Amy Carbonaro, and she's going to take it from here.
Thanks, Jory. So yes, as Jory mentioned, I'm going to give an additional little bit of background just as far as where we were at 3 years ago versus where we're at now. So Jory mentioned some of the goals of the OEI. What I'd like to do is talk about some of the components that tie into those goals. So specifically what we're looking at is system-wide resources for students. And what we mean by this is a commitment to align our resources to a full range of learning possibilities and really work on improving that overall student experience. Secondly, we're looking at technology resources that maximize economies of scale. So as Jory mentioned, we are 114 strong at this point. We are able to leverage our size and our buying power to really address efficiencies, overlaps, and really tie into that buying power and economies of scale. And then thirdly, we have the system-wide resources for developing high-quality courses. So Autumn Bell in the back is our professional development director, and Autumn and her team, yes, Autumn and her team work to create just a wealth of resources to provide our faculty that really, the end game is driving at creating the highest quality courses available. So all of these things sound great. Obviously the goals, the objectives, the components that all tie in, I think most people would agree it's a great thing that we're trying to do. The problem is, if we don't have some foundation to build upon, it really becomes problematic to truly make these resources available system-wide. So what's the solution and how do we get there? We see the solution as streamlining access with technology. And we have gotten there through the Common Course Management system. So as far as the Common Course Management selection process, basically what we did back in, 2014, we started a selection process that involved 70 individuals, all from the CCC system. It comprised of faculty, staff, administrators, and as Jory mentioned, most importantly, students. This group was collectively called or identified as the Common Course Management Committee. And after a 10-month procurement process, Canvas was selected after a near unanimous decision. And I tell you this because it really is fundamental to the success of our project to have that buy-in from each constituency group. So basically when we released the RFP, we had ideas on adoption rates. And again, that was almost 3 years ago, but at the time we thought by September of 2017, we'd have a total of 40 colleges adopting. And where we're at now, we actually have 108 of the 114 colleges that have chosen to adopt Canvas as their sole CMS. And so I think it really speaks testament to not only the selection process and what we did as far as the buy-in from each constituency group, but also speaks some volumes as far as our relationship with Canvas and how pleased pretty much everyone in our system has been in dealing with Canvas. So with that, I'd like to hand it over to Barbara.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Barbara Illowsky, and we wanted to point out that up here we have some business cards. If you have questions on academic services, take mine. If you have them on our exchange, take Kate's, or overall you want the boss, take Jory's. We also have a pad of paper up here if you would like to email us and you have a specific question, so on. What I'm going to talk about is actually, I think that maybe Jared Stein today must have come to see what I was going to talk about so he could set up his whole entire talk about this. In California, our motto has always been access for all of our students, but access is never enough. We don't want to get in all of our students, and as my former chancellor would always say, we accept the top 100% that apply. So I'm going to talk about what we're doing from the student point of view, from the faculty point of view, and how we're going to work on what we're going to work on next. So from the student point of view, we want our students to come. As you saw from one of the first slides from Jory, we have almost 60,000 courses online that are offered each year. And each individual has built his or her course. Each college has independence as to deciding what's required of the faculty to teach those courses and what support services they have. Some of the larger districts have a lot of support services for faculty and for students, and some of the smaller ones have very minimal level. And so from the student's point of view, we want the student to not only have access to all our courses, we want them to succeed, right? It's one thing to be able to take the course, it's another thing to be able to succeed. And so what we're looking at are from the regular principles, I mean, really way down from Chickering as to what's important for succeeding in a regular face-to-face class, adopting that for online. So the students are in the course exchange, and through that we have a set of modules that we developed, and I could say we, meaning I had absolutely nothing to do with it. It was from the student services side of the house. But these are modules, and everything we do is Creative Commons licensed, so other states have adopted them. And they're modules on how do you become an online student. So not necessarily orientation to college, but orientation to time management for online, what you need to do to check in, and then we have some advanced ones on finances and so on. And so these are a set of 13 modules. We've also partnered with Proctorio. You saw the symbol up there before, their logo, for online proctoring. For some of the classes require online proctoring, and so we've contracted with them. We are now building a face-to-face proctoring network. Many of our courses that we say are 100% online required proctored exams that right now are not able to do online proctoring. Or if you're a troublemaker like myself, who I teach math and statistics, and I allow students to bring in a page of notes, which could look like cheating if you're doing online proctoring, and an ESL dictionary, which could look like cheating, or a graphing calculator. We need face-to-face. So we don't want a student in San Diego to need to go up to Chico, north of Sacramento, to take a proctored exam. We're setting up a proctoring system among our colleges where they can go in and take their exam then. We have plagiarism detection that we've contracted with Verisight with. The students also, online counseling. Students who are taking their courses online aren't necessarily able to get to counseling on campus, yet they still have some of the same needs, and I'm not talking just about academic advising, crisis counseling. We're using our California Community College counselors, who are the discipline experts, and are teaching them and working with Cranium Cafe to develop the skills needed for online counseling. So what they're learning is, how do you become an online counselor, work online? And then, of course, what students need is tutoring very often. And if they can't get to the college for tutoring, they often feel like they're stuck, or they can't get in from 8 in the morning to 5 p.m. Well, what we've found from research is that the highest, the largest time or interval of time when students need tutoring help and do their homework is Sunday nights. Most of our California community colleges are not open on Sunday nights, so we're contracted with Link Systems International for online tutoring. So this is from the student's point of view, what happens when they go into Canvas and what they see. Now, from the faculty point of view, we're teaching, the courses are taught inside Canvas, but when a faculty member comes in, we have recommended library services, how they can connect with online library, and this guide was written by librarians in the California system. We have an online community of faculty so that we can work together, we can talk with each other, we can have a presence. One part that wasn't mentioned before was that out of our courses in California, we have about 65,000 faculty teaching in California, and over 40,000 of them are adjunct faculty who feel very isolated often. They're often driving from place to place, or they're given a course on Friday and say, would you like a job starting Monday? Here's an online course for you. You can teach it. And it's like, of course I want to do it. Of course I'm an expert at it. Of course, because you need a job, right? And they're all discipline experts, but not necessarily in online teaching. Accessibility support and universal design. We have accessibility specialists who work with us, and 3 of our instructional designers are sitting right there, Helen, Tara, and Lene, who've worked with us, and we have accessibility support on how do you build with the universal design in mind. Now, fortunately, Canvas is a really good place to start. So we're starting with a compliant course management system, and we're building this, helping with accessibility for what the faculty put into the course. And then we've built a set of support modules and support for students who are taking transfer level courses but still need assistance in some of the dev ed level courses. So for example, we have a lot of students who may be taking US history but have challenges with reading. So we have materials for them on how do you read effectively, what's active reading, and so on. We have students who may be taking sociology or psychology, and yet they are at the basic level of mathematics and they see a bell curve, and it's like, okay, that's a bell curve, that's pretty, you know, but trying to decide what does it mean when in their psych class an IQ is two standard deviations above the norm. What does that mean so far as mathematics? So we have support for that. And then, of course, we have support professional development on designing the course. And Autumn in the back, who was pointed out before, is our Chief Professional Development Officer. And there's lots of training for faculty across the state. What's happening next? Here's where we want to do more. We want to do a lot more with data analytics, and there have been a lot of presentations here, and that's something that we really need to understand more about. A social presence, trying to figure out how to have social interactions without violating FERPA regulations, without having to give your phone number or your email address to classmates. Credit for prior learning is an area that we're just starting, and we're working on serving the veterans who come in with military transcripts, because that's part of one of the easier ways to evaluate. Open educational resources. I'm really excited to tell you that for next year, I'll be putting in a presentation. We're developing OER-enabled Canvas sample course shells, which are, we can't use the word templates. So we're not using the word templates, but we're developing course shells which will have a lot of, not instructional content, but content so far as how do you make videos, how do you start, and then we'll have OER textbooks, open textbooks, as built into the courses for faculty, and accreditation support. I guess I can take a question. Sure. We will be sharing those with the Commons. We're almost done with the first one. We're finishing up our committee, and we'll be starting with the 28 OpenStax textbooks and then putting them straight into Canvas Commons with a Creative Commons CC attributions license. What else? We don't know what else yet, but we know we have a lot of what else that we absolutely need to do. And with all that, what else? I'm going to pass it over to Kate.
So I'm Kate Jordahl, Director of Strategic Planning and Operations, and I'm really excited to be here. And one of the things I always emphasize, and I thank Kate for touching on it, is that I've worked at Foothill de Anza for 19 years. I'm a professor of photography, and if you ever want to hear the story of how the professor of photography becomes the Director of Operations and Strategic Planning, I'm happy to share it. But I am passionate about online learning, and that's what's been really exciting about working with the OEI. My big project is the online course exchange, and this is a way for students anywhere to get the classes they need to finish their degrees and to transfer. So enhanced access for students. For completion, they can go into the consortium that we've built and find the class they need. Now, it's only in its beginning. We're at pilot stages, but what we're building will allow them to combine units for financial aid. They won't need to repeat their placement, and they won't need to repeat their orientations, big time drains on students. They will receive a combined schedule that will show them all the classes they're taking, and they'll find the class they need. And this is built on Canvas because all their classes will show up in the same place. Without that common course management system, we couldn't even dream of creating this fluid flow of students from their home college to their teaching college. So the advantages for the colleges, it's a tool for enrollment management. Colleges will be able to target the classes they need to offer, they'll be able to serve the students that they need, and they'll be able to fill sections that maybe would have gone unfilled, helping both their students and students around the state. Students will find and complete the classes they need for their degrees and transfer, and faculty get support for quality online classes through resources, accessibility support, and professional development. And so it only makes sense that I want to end with faculty voices, because I really think that faculty voices are what we need to hear to know how important this is. And I went to faculty and asked them, and Lindsay shared with me, he teaches Administration of Justice at Hartnell. OEI has completely changed the way I look at online education. The entire initiative is focused on student success, and they do this by creating an environment of available resources. OEI provided professional development training, great networking with experienced educators, and well-vetted apps for use in the online classroom. Since the inception of the OEI, I have had the benefit of shared experience and expert advice that has really given me insight on how I can improve my online content delivery. And Wendy Bass, who is a distance education coordinator and instructor in early childhood ed from LA Pierce. One of the best features of the OEI ecosystem is the ability to find support in so many places. Prior to this, I was isolated as a DE coordinator using Moodle, and there was only one other coordinator I could call when I had issues and did not want to bother her all the time. Now, with so many DE coordinators supporting Canvas, I have a complete network to go to for support. Additionally, OEI recommendations and the online course rubric have helped me to emphasize some best online practices for my faculty. So through the community of teachers who now use Canvas, through the consortium, which is the 24 pilot colleges that are working together to build the course exchange, and through the colleges that will be joining us when we open the invitation for new colleges to join the course exchange, we really have a community that can support online success for our students through accessibility, course development, resources for all of the things that Barbara shared, and through the fact that we as people who care about online learning have people we can turn to when we have questions. Thank you. What? I can do the video, and then we'll take questions? Okay. So I did add this in case we had time, and we all talked really fast. So we get to see the video about the course exchange.
Several years ago, community colleges in California faced a crisis. Across the system, courses were either oversubscribed or unavailable. Pressure mounted to bring in online education companies to fix the problem. Instead, the state decided to invest in its faculty and funded the Online Education Initiative, or OEI. Several years ago, community colleges in California faced a crisis. Across the system, courses were either oversubscribed or unavailable. Pressure mounted to bring in online education companies to fix the problem. Instead, the state decided to invest in its faculty and funded the Online Education Initiative, or OEI. Taking a collaborative approach to online education, OEI developed a statewide course exchange that pools resources, responds to faculty concerns, and focuses on student needs. The impact of OEI is far-reaching. Sharing curriculum and other resources challenges the traditional divisions between institutions, across districts, and even within schools. In implementing the course exchange, OEI staff were aware of the need for a strategic approach to critical support services. Individual institutions were encouraged to adopt a common learning management system to provide a consistent experience for students to navigate courses. New student services support advising, proctoring, tutoring, and plagiarism checking. New faculty services support course design, teaching strategies, and professional development programs. Recent integrations between the student information systems and other critical business platforms enable sharing of administrative functions like registration, grading, student data, and automated enrollment reports. These administrative integrations also allow unprecedented data sharing, providing local institutions with information. Tools and predictive analytics improve administrative decision-making and student success rates. This is the infrastructure that supports online learning. Its benefits extend well beyond the course exchange itself. 500,000 California students taking online courses at their local institutions will take advantage of the improved academic infrastructure, whether or not they're part of the OEI's course exchange. All 2 million students should benefit from the improved administrative functions. Course exchanges can have a profound effect on higher education, but the transformative effect of the new infrastructure might have an even greater impact. This infrastructure and the benefits it enables are the intended consequences of course exchanges, fostering collaboration among faculty and administrators and allowing higher education to reach its full potential.
We're going to tag team here. So you've heard a lot about us, but we wondered if you had some questions that you wanted to ask us about the work we've been. It's not the Austin Powers music, at least. I mean, that was on earlier. So we have a few minutes left. Just wanted to see if there were questions. We're happy to tell stories. We may know some jokes. It's Thursday afternoon. Yeah. See, now you put me on the spot. All right, well, I'm not hearing questions, but what I will say is that our team is here to talk more with you if you want to come up afterwards or be in touch with us. What we've found overall is that, just real quickly, before you totally pack your bag, we've been working with 24 pilot colleges that have implemented all of the resources that were shown in the video that we talked about. Other resources we've been able to make available statewide to all of our colleges. And the data that we're starting to see is showing a differential. The colleges that are using some of the resources we've seen some higher success rates, but the pilot colleges that have implemented all of these resources have seen an additional increase in success to where now typically, there's we don't like to talk about it, but we talk about the differential between face-to-face success rates and online success rates, right? It's the old conversation that we've had forever that really needs to stop, and we really need to focus, like they said in the keynote this morning. What are the unique differences between face-to-face and online, and how can we leverage those? And so we're starting to see that. And so with our pilot courses now, we're under 4% differential between our face-to-face and online instruction. And this ecosystem of student support, starting again with the base of Canvas as an easily accessible, intuitive, friendly system, layered with all these other pieces, is really helping our students succeed. So we'd love to talk more with you about that if you have questions. Contact information is on the screen, and thank you for being here today for our session. Really appreciate it.